Good morning, everybody. How we doing? Hope everybody is well, ready to get after it today. Interesting structure today. We're actually going somewhere. The market's actually moving in a direction. This is insane. Looks like we did have a range, like up until this point. It looked pretty range-like. But since then, definitely this. Definitely have this with a, oops, hold on. Definitely have this with a break into extreme. However, if this momentum keeps going, we might even have this. Cautiously optimistic that that might be the case. P, interesting question to start off the morning. No, I can't say that I've just YOLO'd real accounts. Real eval accounts. Yes, sorry, I have done that. Alright, I'll be honest. But the problem with that is, let's say you YOLO an eval account, now you're funded. Like, what are you gonna do? You know, if that's your strategy to get there, you're just gonna fail it. So while yes, I'll admit I have done that, in the end it doesn't really amount to anything, because if you're gonna actually have a funded account and be able to consistently take out money, you need an edge, you need a strategy, and you need discipline. And so even just like YOLOing's not good for your mindset. If you want to YOLO, I suggest turning on sim and just cranking up the amount of contracts if you need to get that out of your system. It's free. I don't think I can take a second entry long up here because of the range, the previous range structure. This channel is more likely. So the most likely scenario really is that we just move back into the range from here. Yeah, sim YOLOing, shoot, man, that's just some innocent fun. But we did talk about that yesterday on how it's still not necessarily helpful for you know, your mindset, your discipline, all that. So I don't do that anymore. But if you need to get it out of your system, there it is. Yeah, let's see. What'd you say might have? Test the downside, find support, move up. Yeah. I dig that. I'm also going to be watching this level pretty closely, because although we have a, you know, this bullish channel is played out, we could certainly work our way down here and then bounce and have a wider bullish channel going on. Maybe even put in a bull trend day. Alright, let's not get crazy. You know, I'm sorry. That's a big ask, but it could happen. Yeah, it doesn't look like, I was just looking back, it doesn't even look like there's a way to play this move really. No real good signal bar at the bottom of the range. That's also only just the second touch. You didn't necessarily trust that yet. No failed second entry. No second entry long here. No second entry long here. Well, I guess there is. It's right here, but that's kind of a bold move. You don't have really room to the highs. You are bouncing off that, but that's a pretty aggressive trade. That one will fail more times than it'll work. Here's our first entry long. Maybe, no, that didn't go long. Yeah, this is just the first entry here. Maybe if we pull back and get a second entry that is, and the EMA is clearly holding prices, and we have two legs back, two clear legs back, I might consider taking a long there, but it looks like we might just go higher here. I got a feeling that this is going to end up being a bigger channel. Looks like we are just about to test that. See if it's legit or not. Yeah, I don't think the second entry long is going to set up here. We have a long way to pull back before the EMA. We already made our first entry. Yeah, I think this is a hurry up and wait formation here. That's the technical name for it. Meanwhile, I'm gonna just tinker with some settings here, guys. Just setting up some hotkeys and stuff. I realized that I had not actually ever got my hotkeys set up for my order entry tool. So I don't know if you remember yesterday when I took that trade, I was like scrambling to get an order on the screen, all because I had forgot to set up hotkeys. So I don't want that to happen again today. Which, by the way, I highly recommend if you're not, I mean, if you're doing scalping like me, you need to have hotkeys set up and you got to get automatic trade management set up. Those two things are must have for sure. Okay, gotta disable this. Ooh, look at this second entry long. Nowhere near the EMA, but there is a little bit of support here. I'm not taking it. You're also close to this potential key entry point. I'm not taking it, but I can see how it might be tempting. Oh, your hotkeys aren't working. Interesting, Zippins. Are you on NinjaTrader? I've never had that problem. NinjaTrader 8 and your hotkeys aren't working. That sucks. Yeah, closing it or restarting it or clear your cache. That's what's been screwing up my charts. Okay, I think I'm close to getting this here. Take a peek at the prices, make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, good. Whew. I don't want to be setting up hotkeys and all of a sudden miss a trade. I've done that kind of crap before. That's the worst. There's so much downtime in trading, you know, and so it's easy to try to multitask, and inevitably, like right when you start a new task or something, like, oh man, the market's slow, I'm gonna get something done. It's exactly when a setup happens. And then you FOMO into the trade, and then you get a big loss, and then you double down to try to earn it back, get an even bigger loss, then you sell your home and your car, put more money in your account to try to take a trade, and you end up homeless on the streets. I think that's how the sequence goes. I think this will do for now. That's true, you should sell your kidney first. Before you sell your house, sell your kidney. Looks like we might push higher here. The second entry long did work. I'm getting deep into this now, guys. I'm setting up multiple hotkeys. One for my fancy order entry, and then another one for like regular buy and sell. I really want to be able to do everything with hotkeys. That's the goal. No more clicking on charts. It's just annoying and slow. Like if you need to get in or get out of something really quick, you don't want to be screwing around with that. I'm trying to see if there's a hotkey option for flattening all positions. I don't think there is. I'm looking right now. I don't think there is. Do you, Jocko? Oh man, I need to get on that. Oh, you have to do it custom. Okay. I'm sure I can Google that. I'm sure there's someone out there that has a free resource. Good question, Matthew, and good morning, by the way. What kept me out of that second entry long was... Oops, hold on. So we were in a range structure to start the day. So I think this is the most likely channels we have set up, right? You already have of this move here. It's already been played out with the break in new extreme. So you're expecting prices to move down. You're not expecting a continuation just yet. Second entry longs really need to happen close to the EMA. If you have a space between the setup and the EMA, prices are, you know, likely to wick into that space and knock you out. So there's that. It's away from the EMA. This is all played out. And then even if you were to have this channel, even if you were to have this, and you were expecting a new extreme, this signal bar is not great anyway. It's kind of somewhat bearish. You really want a strong signal bar, so that's like 3 or 4 strikes against that trade for me. And again, like some people might be some people might take it, they might trust it. If you're really expecting this bullishness to continue, you really feel strong about that, it's not bad. I mean, that signal bar is not terrible, but all that space of the EMA, and this is a little choppy in here too. It's not like 2 solid legs back. But by the count, it is a second entry long. First entry, second entry. And here we are dropping down, so this is exactly why you skip out on that. I think it would have worked depending on how many points you went for. 5, oh no, well not for me, because I go for at least 2 points. So I would have gotten stopped out on that. Okay, back to my hotkeys. It looks like we are gonna work down to the range. I can't fade this move yet because this was pretty bullish. So although we were expecting prices to come back down, not good enough to fade. Maybe if we get a lower high here, right around the EMA, I might consider fading that. We're also 4 minutes away from the open. Okay. Okay, I think I'm gonna turn on my sim here and just test out my hotkeys, see if they work. Trying to make sure I don't show any account numbers or anything. Let's see here. Okay, I think we're good. Turning on sim real quick. Oh, oops. Alright, let's see here. That's not working for some reason. Why is that not working? Weird. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to figure that out, I guess. That one works. That one works. Okay, well, good to know. That's why you test it out. Now I'm curious, why the heck wouldn't that work? I guess Zippins was just talking about his hotkey's not working either, so alright, well, I guess it's not just you now, Zippins. Cold keys, that's what you need, dude. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Need cold keys. Market is open. Here we go, baby. Oh, there is Fed speech today in a half an hour. I don't like this lower high we pushed back above the EMA. Yeah, this is a little bit indecisive. Interesting imbalance towards the buy side. Well, we might get a failed second entry short here above the EMA. We technically already have a break in new extreme of our downtrend, so that's technically played out. Here's our second entry short. See if it fails. Nope. Would have worked. I guess this channel might actually be like this, so I think maybe now this is our break new extreme here. So let's see if we get continuation or we push back above the EMA. Possible wider channel. Definitely not trusting that yet, but something I'm looking at. So right now, really the only trade I'm looking at would be a failed second entry short that pushes above the EMA. That bullish bar is promising for that. Sorry if I'm zoomed out too much, just trying to get the overall bias going, because it's really a bit challenging to tell right now. Do have our push above the EMA. See if we can get a failed second entry short. And rather, we're just going to push up with no entry, it looks like. But it's really important to note that we did not push back into the range. So that is quite bullish. We had a range structure to begin with. Had this really strong move up on the news and breaking a new extreme. That's when you expect prices to correct back down into the range if it's going to be a range structure, but now we were just pushing higher. So looking for a solid second entry long at this point. I'm looking for a larger bullish channel. Might have that. Might have that. So I'm watching both of those. I'm going to take them off my chart for the time being. I might leave this one up. I kind of like this one. Testing that high a day. I'm gonna get a channel on this. Don't like that this is happening right at the high day. Want to see a nice push above. It looks like we already might have a break in the extreme of that small channel there. So kind of tricky to consider a second entry long at this point. Right at the high of the day. This bullish channel is likely played out, so I think we're gonna have to wait just a little bit longer. See how this corrects. While that's correcting, let's take a look at 10K. Zooming out here, looks like this is a pretty key level for us right here. Multiple touches there yesterday. I think we might need to come back here and test this support. Hold on, I gotta figure out what price that is. 03. Oh, so that's like right there. Cool. Well, definitely watching that 03 level. If we hold it on this pullback, another chance to look for a long. We got our first entry here. First entry. Let's look for one more pullback. A second entry. Right on that EMA, right around that key level on the 10K chart. Can we possibly have this spike in a channel formation here? Let's see what happens. Hope everything that I'm sharing is making sense and you guys are starting to be able to see that on your own if you weren't already. Price action, here's our second entry. Price action is definitely, well, I guess it's not a second entry because we never pulled back really. This is all, we can all consider this just the first entry here. What I mean by that is we pulled back to here, right? And had our first entry. And these next two bars never went lower than the previous bar. This one's an inside bar, this is an equal low. So we really are just on our first entry still. This channel I drew too, another thing to note, the EMA is kind of matching the slope of it. Actually both EMAs are. That's a good sign. That's one confirmation you can look for when you're drawing channels. If the slope is matched by an EMA, you're probably on the right track. We got 20 minutes till Fed speak. I don't know how high impact it's going to be, but definitely something to take note of. As you know, it could get wild. So now we definitely have, you know, this shorter term channel is played out right here. That wasn't really a second entry long, John, just like I kind of explained. You could treat it as such, but yeah, because it didn't tick lower, I don't consider it. That was our first, and then never pulled back right here, so this really now is our pullback. So the next bar that goes higher will be the second entry. And we got a new high too, yes. Yes, exactly. So looking for this correction. I think we're gonna go quite a bit lower here with everything played out. Oh no, macaroons. Yeah, don't. Playing those news events is a zero-sum game. Actually a negative-sum game. You just never know. All of a sudden you can get a 100-point candle in the opposite direction of your trade, so you gotta be really cautious with that. I use Apex's trade copier, John. I'll put a link in the chat. I don't know why I don't have that in my description. People always ask me about that. Hold on. Okay, here we go. That's the one I use. I've never really messed around with Replicano. I haven't had problems with the Apex one. I have heard some people say that, but I've also heard some people say they have problems with the Replicano one, so I don't know. Very interesting price action up here. Okay, Jocko, cool. We had kind of a possible at this high. Looked like maybe a range was setting up. This is kind of crucial right here. If we start to move back down, we might be in this kind of upper range. And we're pushing up again, so this is definitely bullish. Never even got a new extreme or even a test of a new extreme of that correction channel. All little clues to keep noting. Unfortunately, there's not really a trade up here at this level. At the high, that could easily be reversed. Just got to keep watching. Really looking for a bigger channel to start forming. Hey, nice. Good job, Zippins. That's awesome. Yeah, Zippins, now that you hit it on the eval, all you need to do is just log days, man. Just buy and sell a micro. I would even do like a trade like the M2K because it's super cheap. Just boom, buy, sell, you're done. That'll log it in as a day. I wouldn't try to trade, actually make any trades anymore. Zippins, how many contracts were you trading on that 25K eval? I'm curious. Headed up to the top of this channel here. Man, I'm still trying to get my hotkeys all set up. Not working. Bummer. Okay. Well, now we really need to wait for a pullback. We never tested the bottom of this. That's definitely bullish. So we don't necessarily have to wait for it to get all the way back to the channel. We might be starting to put in like a steeper channel here, something like this. So just waiting for a pullback to the EMA, looking for a second entry long. This is definitely buy territory. We're not looking to sell any of this. Three max, nice Zippins, cool. Good question, John. I do regularly get paid out, but I don't. Yeah, my goal is to grow them. So I'm not taking a lot out of there. Yeah, it looks like we have a overshoot of this larger one. I'm watching the smaller channel. This might be really the structure we got going on. It's respecting it quite nicely. Gabe, that's much more of a that's a better size for sure. Yeah, 3 MES is totally fine with a 25K account. Don't feel bad about that at all. I think any mini contracts on a 25K account that's pretty aggressive. Which obviously that's what I'm doing. As you guys have seen over here, I'm trading 4 contracts, so I'm going super aggressive with this, but yep. Okay, we're starting to turn down now. This really could fit in the wider one, actually. The way I see it for my scenario in the 25K, first of all, I'm only trading a couple hours in the morning with you guys, so I don't want this to take like 5 months. And secondly, I really only need to do, it's aggressive sizing for sure, but I really only need like 3 wins in a row and then I'll pass it. So I think it's reasonable for the particular parameters that I've set for myself. John, same actually. I'm trading 4 contracts in across my PA accounts. Sorry, in each one, I mean. So here's the first entry long. We're right at the EMA. We could get a second entry long that forms right here. I don't like how steep that correction was. And we are now below the EMA. But if this ticks down, gives us a nice bullish bar, this is going to be tempting for sure. Right now, this didn't even tick down. It's an inside bar. It didn't even make a matching low, so I'm not gonna take that. And technically, we don't even have our second entry yet because we haven't pulled back at all. So this is all still the first entry. Here's our second pullback. See if this can end on a nice bullish bar. And bearish, below the EMA. Getting a little congested, lots of wicks. I don't really like this anymore. Yeah, some folks might take that. That's pretty congested to me. If this bullish signal bar had gone lower and really finished super strong above the EMA, I would have considered that, but yeah, see, you're stopped out already. And we have 4 minutes till Fed speak anyway. We'll see if our original channel here holds. Okay, good idea, Zippins. Yeah, dude, protect that eval. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. That's really great. So I'm serious. Only trade one like micro contract, buy sell, then you're done for the day on that. Just hold it until you meet the requirements and you get your funded account. Don't screw around. We'll see you tomorrow, Zippins. Have a great one. I'm gonna pop over to our 10K chart. Looks quite bullish on the 10K, doesn't it? Thank you, Martin. I mean, Matthew. Matthew Martin. Yeah, really appreciate that, man. Really appreciate that. That is definitely the number one thing that has helped me be profitable is patience. Waiting for the setup that I want, and a setup that gives me edge. So I really appreciate that you're getting something out of that, and really glad to have you here. The max drawdown on a 25K account is only $1,500, so it's a little bit dicey, especially if you're trading mini contracts. So pretty much all of my funded accounts are 50K. I've found that to be the best combination of having enough cushion, having enough contracts, value for your money as far as like how much it costs versus how many contracts they give you, the ratio between the drawdown and the profit target. To me, that's been the sweet spot. This is kind of the first time I'm trying out a 25K eval, and again, I like it because of the parameters of this live stream, being able to get it done a little bit quicker with the limited time that we have. But I do like that you have a very small profit target, so you can kind of, I think the biggest thing once you get funded is getting past the trailing drawdown, and you can do that quicker with the 25K account. So there's definitely something to be considered there, and might actually be a really good approach. So and if you trade it a little bit aggressively, you can pass it really quick. Oh, why am I still on the 10K? Get out of here. What are we doing? Boy, this is really weird in here. I want to see us really get back to the channel and then put in a failed second entry short. That's the trade I'm looking for now. We could probably draw a little range here, just so congested. Really terrible price action in there. Probably just waiting for Fed speak here. all this was good movement, and then the market was like, oh yeah, we got someone about ready to talk. Let's just chop around for a little bit and wait. There we go. Let's see what Barr has to say. And by that I mean I'm not listening to it, but I'm just gonna watch the watch the price. That'll tell me. Few comments on crypto, that's funny. The Fed would consider it risky for banks to directly own crypto assets. You don't say. We're getting a nice little pop on it. Oh, what? Banks can't own crypto? That's bullish. Market up. We do have our first entry short. Looking for that second entry short to fail. It's gotta happen around this level though. That's what I'm getting ready for, folks. Alright, here we go. Let's see if we can get in a nice failed second entry short. Alright, ticking lower. Don't want it to go too low. Go low, just not too low. Gotta finish bullish too. Alright, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. I'm gonna put in my order. There we go. Long. It's a little bit high though. That's the only problem. Occurred pretty high. Might get stopped out here. This is looking still pretty newsy. I don't like that. It's not looking like regular price action. Might scratch out of this, guys. I also need to lower my target based on the ATR. Here we go. Come on, baby. Come fill us. Oh man, touched our order. Come on now. There we go. Runner stopped. All right. Good deal. Got one. Throw a like to this stream if you appreciated that trade, if you're cheering for me. Got our win here. I don't really like that trade so much, looking back on it, simply because this bar was pretty high. Would have liked to see the body of it a little bit closer to that breakout area, to the top of the range. That would have given me a lot more confidence in the trade, and I would have held it without a problem. The fact that it was really high, that was a bit riskier. So yeah, I probably wouldn't take that again, but it's really not a bad trade because price action has been, oh my gosh, look at that news. Okay, that's the other reason to maybe stay out of it, is you still have the potential for a news drop. So but anyway, worked out. We are now, what are we at on our account here? 25.5. Cool. So we're officially 1/3 of the way to getting this account funded. Just need a few more trades, and can only really take, you know, with how many contracts I'm trading, can only really take one loss. Can't afford to do 2 losses in a row, so gotta be really selective on this one. But we are officially 1/3 of the way there, and hopefully we can get that going soon. Did anyone else actually, I don't want to know if you took that with me. I don't want to know that. I don't want y'all have to clinch like me. So it does look like one thing I in the past, after I've taken a trade, sometimes I'm just kind of like, oh, that was over, and I miss a setup that happens right afterwards. So, oh yeah, that's right, there's a delay. I forgot about that. Okay, cool. Well, then I can ask, did anyone else take that trade? We might get another failed second entry short here. From the low here, first entry. If we push up and get a second entry, I might take another hack at this. Looks like we did have likely a measured move already. Yeah, that was pretty much a perfect measured move, so might get a bounce. However, we also have we got our high here, a lower high. Don't want to keep putting in lower highs, lower low. So we might have a little bit of bearish imbalance coming in. That's very wide and flat, but to give an idea of kind of where we might be headed. Here's the second entry short. Not going to take this on a failure. Below the EMA. We still do have this channel too that needs a new extreme to be formed. Yeah, trades where the EMA and the trend line meet up, a beautiful thing. It's worth waiting for. Seriously, if you could sit through 3 days of you know, mediocre trades and then take one like second entry long on a bullish bar at the EMA and trend line, I promise you'll thank yourself later for that. Super worth it. And those kind of trades often will get you know, the better the setup, oftentimes the better the runner. So you could really have one trade that'll make a whole week. Right now I'm going into my Rhythmic account, and I want to keep track of the drawdown on our challenge here. So with that trailing drawdown, even if you're getting wins, you still want to keep track of it, make sure you're not getting, and I didn't really have, we pretty much got out right at the target. So yeah, I'm still at $1,400 of drawdown, so that's solid. Just checking all my accounts to make sure we're all good to go. All right. Well, we're definitely getting the push down here. All that prior bullishness is not looking so bullish anymore. Now we're below the EMA. Could consider looking for a second entry short. Yeah, I would have actually, good question, John. I would have considered that second entry short there. He's talking about right here. I would have wanted a better signal bar. But we did have pullback, first entry short, pullback. That's our second entry short. It's also a failed second entry long, I believe, from this high. First entry long, pullback, second entry long that fails. So because it's a failure, you can ignore that signal bar a little bit. Failures, you can take a little bit more of a bullish signal bar and be just fine. I don't like to do that. I like seeing a good signal bar. It gives me a lot more confidence in the trade. So yeah, I'd skip out on that one personally. But it's still a high probability setup for sure. When you have, this high, drop down, and the first push above the EMA gets immediately rejected, come back up, can't even push above the EMA again, that's definitely indicating that there is some bearishness. The EMA is starting to turn over. Yeah, a lot of reasons that you could take that trade. I'm trying to remember where that measured move was too. Still, yeah. I mean, you'd kind of already hit that measured move. That's one reason to stay out of it. So yeah, it could have gone either way for me. I'm a little picky if you haven't figured that out. Yeah, I think once you've learned the art of being picky, that's when you can start to, you know, choose to be more aggressive and choose to take more trades on. But I think the requirement first is that you know how to let a lot of trades go and, you know, deal with FOMO, be able to look at like this giant move and not feel anything, or feel something but just not act on it. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I wish I was in that, but oh well. Once you've gotten that down emotionally, and you're consistent with being patient and waiting for really high probability trades, then you can branch out and get more aggressive. I don't, simply because I don't like that. I don't like the stress of taking a lot of trades and, you know, having to question all of them. Battling back from losses and stuff. It uses a lot of mental capital to trade a lot, to take a lot of positions. A lot of mental and emotional capital. We are quite far from the EMA here. Would want a strong pullback, or of a deeper correction. That I really want to see two legs out of this thing, so you know, something like this. Then I'll consider a second entry short. There's our first entry. Need to see it push a bit higher. We still don't have that, you know, two clear legs. Although we technically have our first entry. This is all just looking like one leg so far. Yes, Sean, it has. I'm definitely a bit more nervous to, like, when I'm in a trade, wanting it to work out. I've noticed that my heart starts beating a little bit, and that doesn't usually happen when I enter a trade. So yeah, it's definitely been an adjustment, but I think I'll get used to it. Just as I got used to, you know, that used to be every trade for me, even by myself, you know, of like, oh my gosh. So, but I was able to get over that. So I think I hope I can get over that in the stream environment as well. But at the same time, I also really like, it's helpful to talk through everything as well. Talk about all the setup I'm seeing. It really helps solidify what I'm looking for and all that. And I really, you know, I love teaching. I love interacting with people. So that part's fun. That makes it worth it. I think I can get over the emotions of, I think it's just, you know, not wanting to fail in front of people, you know? Especially if folks are like listening to, oh man, that's a pretty decent second entry, shoot. Dang, that was a pretty good one. I can wait for a lower high. Oh, did I say second entry long? Second entry short. That was a good second entry short. I might have taken it if I wasn't talking. No, I actually, you know what? I think there's This still looks like we're in a trend. So I don't think you can quite sell this just yet. Maybe if we get a lower high here. But it looks like it's just gonna go down without us. Oh, I see, Jocko. Sorry, I thought I had misspoke. Yeah, Jocko. Throw some love for him. Good work. I like that second entry short. The only thing I don't like, I like everything about it except for this short-term trend. Everything else is perfect. But this is why you do need to respect. Yeah, see, this is why you need to respect these short-term trends, because look how well that's following it, right? And likely, if it breaks, say right here, likely it will push up one more time before eventually reversing. So that was one of the hardest things for me to remember when trying to perfect this method. Always remembering to respect the short-term corrections, because I mean, look at this, man. Obviously we're gonna sell, right? We have this big move down, got a break. Obviously this is a selling situation, but you'd be surprised how many times you get like a second entry that happens, but it's in a little short-term trend, and that trend keeps going, and but then once it's played out, boom, then it does sell. So you just, you know, waiting for the best moment when to join in on that. But I'm glad you got that one, Jocko. That's awesome. Ooh, this is a tempting bar. It's getting a little long. The other good thing too, Jocko, that you had going for you is that this bar is very small, so there's very little risk on that trade. So you see all that bearish momentum. You know the context is right for a sell. You get a second entry short. Okay, it's in the short-term trend, but that's just a little bit of risk. So if it fails, no big deal. You know, another win can make up for it. So that's another positive. When your signal bar is small, it's definitely a plus for the trade. There's almost a lower high right here, and I would have taken that if that had been better. This one too, but you just have those big, this wasn't a great, it was more of a doji. This had a big wick on the bottom and was a really big bar, but either one of those would have been, you know, with a better bar would have been a good entry. Yeah, I don't think this is going to give me a chance to enter. Maybe this next bar will be a lower high, but now we're starting to get it a little bit stacked. Got all these wicks on the bottom. It's a little concerning. Yeah, I can't take a short here anymore. Unfortunately, the context is so good for a short though. Starting to get way too stacked. Doji land, exactly. The land of the dojis. AKA someone's about to get their face ripped off. Ooh man, this is oh, that would have been really tempting. Had that finished super bearish with that big wick like that, luring in a lot of bulls. Yeah, this looks like we might push up here. We've had so many opportunities to continue that downward momentum, and all of them have resulted in bullish wicks. Except for this guy. But it's mostly a bullish bar, so looks like we might bounce here. Which I guess makes sense with this wider channel. We have our break, that thing needs to be played out first. So I actually might get another chance at a short. With this played out, we might now be able to move lower, give me a nice filled second entry long. I'm gonna zoom out. Always helpful for me to zoom out for a little bit sometimes. Try to get a sense of where we're at on the chart. Interesting, we kind of had a little bit of support right here. Right at that breakout level that held earlier. That is interesting. Right at the breakout level, held right here for a bullish move. It's holding again. We might be setting up for a bullish bounce here. And if this larger channel was valid, we had a break. Never got a new extreme. I am literally just thinking out loud here, guys. But there could definitely be a bullish case still made for the day. Just for kicks and giggles, I wonder where this goes. That's so big. Or like this maybe. That does fit a little bit better. I mean, that's so giant, it's not really tradable, but there's a solid case being made for that. That might end up being valid. Anyway, where were we? Oh, John, you're fine. Ask away. Yeah, I want that interaction. I love when people are asking questions and interacting. Yeah, of course, man. Everyone makes mistakes. everyone does. Like for instance, in I don't know, one of my first streams, I took a trade and it had never actually triggered. I can't remember what it was. It was a short. I think it was a lower high, and I was waiting for the bar to trigger, and then I just entered and didn't realize, like, oh, the bar actually never triggered, and then I ended up losing. So that was definitely a rookie mistake, and goes back to the question about if streaming has affected me. So definitely did there. I was just like, oh man, this is my chance, and then yeah, so. But that kind of stuff happens on my own anyway. It's just life, man. You're gonna make mistakes. Even a lot of pro traders I know would say the same thing. Strong move up here. It doesn't really look great. But that is, I mean, that is straight up. You gotta respect that move. Now I wouldn't usually draw the channel on the second leg. You know, usually it's the first leg and then, you know, the correction, and the second leg you don't need to draw its own channel. However, because that's so strong, it might be a channel of its own. There are some shorts being punished right here. You get a swift move down like that, I guarantee you a lot of people are entering in right here on that momentum, thinking that it's just gonna continue, and they're paying for it. Jocko, that's a great practice. If you get a loss, your heart's beating, good time to walk away. Yeah, every person really, you need to set those kind of rules for yourself. Like, you got to figure out what your areas are, your areas of weakness, like what's going to cause you to start making bad trading decisions. Is it one loss? Is it two losses? Is it, you know, seeing a trade go on without you? You know, FOMO. Like, those are really things that you ought to be journaling. If you still need to figure them out, like as you're trading, have a little journal, write down what you're feeling, everything that's going on. Try to figure out if there's patterns there. And then set up rules for yourself to prevent that from happening. For me, 2 losses in a row. That's when I just can't anymore. I know that after that I'll just be trying to make it back, and I won't be waiting for the best setups. 1 loss, I've come to the place where I can deal with that. Like, okay, it's a loss, it's fine. But once I get that second loss in a row, that's where things really take a turn for me. So after 2 losses in a row, I call it quits for the day. Some people have a max, not a number of trades, but like a max dollar amount that they can lose every day. I think that's certainly helpful. But yeah, you got to figure those things out. Those are just as important as you know, trading the actual setup and being able to execute and things like that. I think maybe my little channel I had right the first time. That this was a break in extreme here. This little guy was played out, had that move down, and then this is a whole new world, as they say. So I'll consider a second entry long. Wanted to pull back all the way to the EMA. Got a long ways to go for that. But that'll be important. I'm not going to take a second entry long if it happens up here. It looks like we technically already had a new high here. I'm going to take a look at the possible range you're talking about, Gary. Yeah, that certainly could be. That certainly does look range-like. And we already have our second entry long. Way, way high up. Don't take this, guys. Not even close to the EMA. Already made a new high, technically. So yeah, actually I guess it's not even a second entry long because we already made a new high here, so. Basically this is just, don't trade this. Wait till we get more of a correction. Don't even have a correction to draw yet. Just like a little mini range up here. I'm gonna jump over to the 10K chart, see what we got going on. Still looks like we are reaching for a new high after this bull channel. So that's where my bias is right now. I think we're due for a little bit of correction here, but I think eventually we're going to make a new high. That's not flat. Failed breakout here would be kind of nice. I don't, you know, it doesn't look like we're gonna get it. We're just gonna break out to the upside. But what I was gonna say is that, you know, you have this bullish move up. Obviously, well, not obviously, I guess, but expecting a continuation. You know, you don't usually just get those massive moves up and then nothing happens. And then you got consolidation right here. So what you'd like to see is a nice convincing break out of here that instantly reverses. And I would have probably traded that, but unfortunately we're breaking out of the top side first, so you don't want to have like a breakout up here and then a breakout down here, and then I mean, that doesn't, if you get started to get too many breakouts of a trading range, the range will just kind of it's got to eventually pick a direction, right? Yo Grant. It's going good, man. Good to have you. Yikes. Hopefully you didn't lose internet in the middle of a trading session or in the middle of a position. Good. I'm glad you're close. Yeah, you gotta prepare for those moments, right? Have a backup plan, even if it's just your phone's hotspot. Man, we're really just starting to chop around in here. Could possibly extend this guy up here and still play a failed breakout to the downside. See if that sets up. Boy, it's like we just hit a brick wall in price action. Good night, man. We've had some pretty decent movement today, then all of a sudden, what is this, like a 2-point range for the last 10 minutes? Nothing. Don't tell me this is setting the tone for the rest of the day. Don't tell me that. No. Okay, so we are getting a little bit of a breakout to the downside. yeah, the only thing I'd really trade here is a really pronounced move down with a nice wick and a nice like bullish hammer. Gotta have, for me, it's gotta have a bit of space to get back to the bottom of the channel, and I'll trade that. Alright, macaroons, take it easy. Trade safe. See you tomorrow. Still expecting the new high on the day. Doesn't look like it's gonna let us in. Maybe a breakout pullback here. Maybe. We'll see. This is gonna be really key here. Would want to see, you know, a tick lower, tick or two lower right here, and then immediately form a bullish bar. Might consider going long there on a breakout pullback. But I'm not going to make the same mistake as earlier and trade it really high. It's got to happen right here. But we're moving too far down now, so looks like the range might win out. You don't want to fade this either, though. I know we're in a range, but with all the bullish momentum, this is not, you don't want to play a failed breakout to the upside like this. I hope that goes without saying, but I would want to throw that out there just in case. Okay, we'll see what we do here. If we have a failed breakout to the downside, or maybe we just start getting some bearish momentum. It's a pretty strong move down. At this point, I would need to see this this move play out with a break and a new low, and then I might consider taking that. If there's a break and a new low right around here with a nice bullish bar, might take that. Lower high would be safer, but I don't think you're gonna get that in such a tight range. There's the first entry long. The other possibility is we might get a failed second entry long. If this momentum continues, first entry, pull back below the EMA, second entry right here that fails. That's another thing I'm looking at. So this is definitely some nuanced price action reading when you're looking for a long and a short setup kind of at the same time. You got to be careful. Things really have to line up correctly. We are still in this correction channel, haven't broken it yet. So can't take any long until that's broken. Unless you're, whoa, hey-yo. Unless you're drawing this really tight, and we already technically have a break in new low. Oof, this is tempting right here, guys. This is really tempting. I don't really like that wick on top. That's tradable though. That might work. It's also a second entry long. Yeah, I'm gonna hold off on that, but that's a pretty decent move. Pretty decent trade idea. Yeah, I could definitely trap longs here. That's why I'm holding off. We also do have technical new high of this move, so you know, according to price action, this is all played out. So it'd have to be really convincing to decide to continue to go long with that, you know, given that information. So expecting a push down here. I'm gonna move this range a little bit. Never triggered anyway. Okay, looks like this downtrend has played out. See if we can get a bounce. Or if maybe we're looking at a larger down move. That might be the case here with how strong this is going. That does look pretty legit, doesn't it? Can't even trade the failed second entry long because it's moved so far down. Look at this flush, man. There's a lot of short stops in there of people who are playing the bullish flag. And they're getting stopped out now. A lot of folks will just enter in on this congestion. You know, they see this move up and see it start to consolidate, and they just take a long position, expecting it to continue. Kind of crazy. I've never done something like that before. Hey, you guys haven't either. Well, the only real setup now would be a second entry short that forms close to the EMA. We have a long ways to go till we get back up there, so I don't know, man. That would be pretty surprising for it to push up that far. Yeah, to definitely, wow, I need some more tea. Today definitely does have range-like qualities. Yeah, the real possibility of a bullish trend with all this. That was really great movement. This correction right here, you know, after you had the break of this big channel, that was a pretty deep correction. So that was your first indication that maybe the bullish momentum wasn't going to continue. But then we had the opportunity here to go and make a new high of this move, and couldn't even get up to even test that. Now we're dropping back below the EMA, so yeah, that's definitely indications of a range. We might have just moved the range a little bit higher, like someone mentioned earlier, with this kind of being the low. But with how bullish it was too, there's probably a lot of sell stops, maybe even below this level right here, because people buying this breakout and seeing that it held right there. There's probably a lot of stops right in this area. So we might come down and really get flushed out. No second entry there, just a first entry and drop. Yeah, we just keep continuing to push lower here. We're not even getting a second entry. I'm really curious to see what happens here. I got a feeling that we're just going to blow past that level and things will really pick up steam there. So that's my bias. Again, I think we'll probably just wreck this level. But that would be interesting if we start to base here. That'd be a good spot to take along. So really this level is kind of key for me. Either we come down here and test it and I look for a second entry short, given everything you know, lines up obviously, or we come here, find support, and get a failed second entry short above that level. So really I'm looking to see a second entry short form, where it's going to form, whether it's on a retest of here from the downside, or on a higher low setup right there. So I think either way, the second entry short is going to hopefully play out one way or the other, either as a legitimate move or a failure, depending on the context. Yeah, that's right, Aaron. Huh. A run up and then a reverse. Come on, guys. You already did that one 3 times last week. Don't you have anything? Don't you have any new ideas? That's when you see a crash and then a bounce. That's their other idea. Oh, well, let's just run it the other way first then. All right, Jocko. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow, man. Yep, I think I'm gonna do the same, guys. Might take a while for those scenarios to play out like I mentioned, but watch for that. Watch for this level right here. See how it reacts. If it's a flush, look for that retest right here and a second entry short. If we just kind of chop around and start forming a base, look for a bounce and then a failed second entry short to take long. That's what I'm looking for. Follow me on Twitter if you're not. I'll be tweeting stuff out, and I am working on doing some chart review videos as well that I hope that I can get in a rhythm and get those out every day or every couple days. You don't see my cursor. I gotta click on the screen maybe? I don't know. Oh, I wasn't on draw mode. Okay, I'll run through that again real quick. So, again, watch this level right here. If it flushes, look for a retest right here and a second entry short to go that way. Or, if we form a base right here, look for a bounce and a failed second entry short to take long. That's what I'm looking at kind of more immediately. And yeah, take care, everybody. Great to have you. See you tomorrow, same time.